my friends, welcome back to my channel. The types of videos I typically post on this channel are usually about how you can level up some area of your lifestyle on a little bit more of a DIY budget at home, but then that gives space and leaves resources for you to then take it to a professional and be on a little bit more of an even playing field when you meet that professional. Because what I have learned in my past is when I go see professionals and I am at like, my head is above water when I go to see them. I'm not in a deficit or down in the dumps or, you know, starting off at a level that is below me, or, you know, I'm not starting off at a level where I feel like, oh my gosh, I have so much to catch up on. That allows me to move so much faster when I see those professionals. So whether this means that you are investing in a course, whether that means you are going to go and see a professional for your skin needs or your hair needs, etc., I think sometimes it's really great to see what you can do at home before you go and see those professionals. So with that, let's get into today's video. Today we are going to be talking about how you can level up your life in 2021 and still remain feminine and flirty and fresh. So with that, I think I mentioned my name is Nicole. You can connect with me over on Instagram if you're just looking to have a more private conversation and follow up on this conversation. But let's get into the first tip. And the first tip, or the first area of concern, or the first thing I want to address is social media, because I think it's very easy to see the people that are being the loudest on social media and think, is this what everybody else thinks? But I also feel like sometimes when people know that they have an opinion that maybe is the unpopular one, they keep it to themselves because they understand that, you know what, I can see from my life experience that I have done X, Y, and Z and it didn't produce the result that I'm looking for. And I'll give you a few examples of that. So for example, on the social media, you hear people saying, oh, I should be able to just show up how I am, you know, I can come as I am, when in reality, we do get judged based off of the way that we look. But yet on social media, you hear people say, oh, we shouldn't be judging people based off of the way that we look, but we judge everything off of the basis of how it looks. So why are we pretending like looks don't matter? I don't think that we should find our value and our worth in our look, but I do think that we have to address the fact that looks do matter. Have you ever booked a hotel? Have you ever booked a restaurant? Have you ever been out to eat? All of those things you would have taken into consideration how something looked. And speaking of looks, this is not planned. Speaking of looks, I'm literally just noticing that my shirt is on backwards. Practice what you preach, people. Practice what you preach. I was like, as I'm talking with my hands, I can feel that it's getting tight, and it was because I had it on from front to back. Oh my goodness. Anyways, moving on to the next point. I do think that, like, again, we can hear, especially on social media as women, it's like we're supposed to be these strong, independent women. We're supposed to get our own money, etc. And as much as I love my job and as much as I have so much fun out of making money, I also think that it does not make sense. And I've seen quite a few people on YouTube talking about this, and I wish more people, like, I'm not good at math. I'm not good at math, but the little bit of math that I am good at, I can understand that, you know what, me doing all of the work in the house and then me feeling like I have to fight to bring in just as much money as my partner or more than my partner or be the bread, like, it does not make sense. And I am not here to talk about what my husband brings in or what I bring in, etc., but I do think it doesn't make sense. And I will leave you with this, and I've mentioned this in a previous video, but I love the podcast Homemaker Chic, and in one of their podcasts recently, or recent to the time of me filming this, they were talking about how if you were to add up all of the little things that a woman in the home takes care of, like the laundry, like the cleaning, like the food, that it would cost about $173,000 a year to pay her. Yet why do we feel like we need to be equal? Because it's not equal. It's not equal. So anyways, I haven't even got into the first point and we're like 5 minutes in. So I want to give you some tips about how we can be more feminine in 2021. One of the first things that I want to address is eating on the go. I used to be terrible at this, and I've mentioned this in so many videos now, but it's not very elegant or very classy, the woman that is like constantly rushing around from point A to point B. And I feel like when you see the woman that is eating on the go, it's not that it is like so abrasive to look at, but you can just see that like she hasn't given herself time or practice intentional living. And I think that eating on the go is like the biggest sign of that. I'm not saying that, like, you know, these things don't happen, but I also think if you're seeing someone do their makeup on the train, and I've been that person, you can see the level of care that they've put into their day-to-day life. The next thing that I think is going to allow you to be more feminine in 2021 is practicing gratitude. If you can understand how lucky you are to have the things in your life, to have the roof over your head, etc., you are going to be a more gracious person and a more soft person, and in turn a more feminine person. So practice your gratitude daily, my friends, and you will be more feminine and you will be more gracious. Now, the next thing that I want to speak to is limiting the TV that you're consuming. I've said it before in other videos, but you are what you eat. And often when people hear that statement, they think it's just in regards to the food that they're consuming. But everything that you watch, that you're taking in, is consumption, and you are feeding your heart and your soul something. So if you are just going to be watching Love Island every day and every night and all of that other trashy TV, what do you expect? If you ate McDonald's every day, you would expect to have a certain type of like nutrition and health to you. If you are taking in that type of quality of TV or literature, of course it's going to be, you know, the same. It's going to have a low nutritional value. So really be conscious of what type of media you are consuming. Now, I know a lot of people like to talk about social media and say, you know, I put a timer on my phone. I actually have a 45-minute timer on my phone, and hear me out, my friends. I do social media management for 4 different companies. Me and my husband have many Instagram accounts. I have my main fashion and beauty account. We have a family account. My husband has an account, and my dogs have an account. So right there, I have just told you 8 different accounts I manage on a daily basis, and they're thriving. And I do not hit the 45-minute timer on my phone, because the way that I look at social media, I look at it as my job, and I get in and I get out. That being said, I think that it's so great that people talk about, you know, social media here online and on YouTube. But if you do not have I do not fall into the comparison trap on social media. So although I have a 45-minute timer on my phone for social media, I don't have that timer on my phone because I don't want to start comparing myself. That's not a deficit that I have. Why I have the timer on my phone is that I have things that I need to get done throughout the day, and if I do not stay on task, I don't want to run behind. I like time blocking my day. So I think some of the tips that you hear on YouTube, ask yourself, does this pertain to me? Is this an area that I fall short in? And I'm even talking about the tips that I'm giving you. Ask yourself, is this an area that I fall short in? Social media might not be an area you fall short in. Equally, I have friends who literally compare everything that they see on social media, and they are down and out in life because they can't, you know, do the maternity shoot that they see Ellie Darby doing. And why would you compare yourself to that? So I think understanding where you fall short is going to be absolutely imperative. And when you understand that, it's going to allow you to be more feminine in other areas of your life. Now, the next thing that's going to allow you to be more feminine is wearing fragrance. I have a niche fragrance right here. I've created tons of other videos talking to you guys about fragrance, but fragrance is going to honestly just make you come alive. The essence and the freshness, and there's something about nature that just evokes something out of you, and fragrance can do this for you. I am not here to tell you which fragrance I think is going to make you feel more feminine, because I thought fragrance is such an intimate and personal thing. So what I will recommend to you is Google niche perfume in your local area, and most of the times niche perfumeries will do something called a sensory experience. Or if you're not bougie like myself, you can just go to your local fragrance counter. But I think when you can be taken on a sensory experience and you hear the stories behind this perfume and why it was created, where it was created, etc., and the story behind it, you end up resonating with this scent so much more. And that's why I like niche perfume and the perfumery that I go to here in Bristol. She tells me the story behind each perfuma. She tells me the story about why they created the fragrance, and then when she explains the notes, what is in it, it tells such a story, and I truly feel alive. You might not be a fragrance connoisseur like myself, so maybe this might not evoke that femininity in you, new, but try it. It doesn't hurt. Now, the last thing that I want to speak to in regards to being more feminine in 2021 is admitting to yourself that looks matter. Now, with that being said, I don't think that you have to be the most attractive person out there, but I do think when you take a certain level and a certain care about yourself, that shines through. Have you not seen a girl where you are like, you are nothing special, how did you get this guy? And it's something that I used to ask myself, and it was something that I used to judge myself on, because often if there was a guy I was interested in and then he started dating a girl that I thought I was more attractive and I got passed over, I was like, really? But it had nothing to do with the way that I looked. It was like the personality. Maybe that girl knew how to be more charming. She could really like emit a feminine charm and she was able to captivate that guy. Maybe it was like he liked the way that she spoke more. You know, you don't know what it is per se. But I do think that we can't think that looks don't matter when we see that on a day-to-day basis. And furthermore, you might be Christian watching this. I know I have a few Christian ladies that watch this channel. But like, if you even want to go back to like the biblical times, like Rachel and Leah, we know how the Bible refers to Leah, and yet we think that it's superficial to look at somebody's looks. Like in 2021, looks do matter, and I think the sooner that we understand that and grab that, you'll understand that like, okay, you know what, I might not be the prettiest person, but I can take care of myself in a way that is going to make myself seem more radiant and shine more. So it's one thing to talk about these things, but how are you going to put them into practice? Are you going to be practicing being more intentional and practicing a slower pace of life? Are you going to look in to see what volunteer opportunities you can do? I don't always think that this has to be something where you're going and doing a mission trip. Like, one of the best things my pastor said to me was like, serve locally before you serve globally. No shade to anybody else, but there's tons of local opportunities that isn't always going to be like going and feeding the homeless. Not slighting that at all, but I think sometimes we can think outside of the box on how we serve. I would love to hear what your action plan is for putting these things into action in the comment section. Furthermore, if you want to talk about these things privately, my DMs on Instagram is always open, so do feel free to contact or connect with me over there. Thank you so much for watching, my friends. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you've considered subscribing, and I hope, that's a lot of hopes, to see you in the next one. Bye.